Wagon walking and talking out here around the mini grass too, ain't no doubt about it. Hey KID, man, I'm doing some things out here around the room, just looking for now, so I'm thinking I'll bump down right quick, let you know what you're doing. KID, do it again some other day, some other way. I'm dipping and dabbing, coming out the mini grass, 019 gone, aloha.
We'll give it a shot here.
Click.
It's time to do our own video gate and the noise and cacophony.
You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
Is it soup yet? I think it is. I hear the soup that is 11 meter DX, as it would be during the spring. Some great weather here in Central California, bringing the radio people out to the radio table. That's what we want, the Old Tube Radio Network tonight, where we promote the use, distribute information about, and hopefully listen to a lot of the old radios that you might have heard. Were you around in 1958 or 1968 or 1978 when the tube, the vacuum tube, was the thing to have? And it is on a Saturday evening here at the Old Tube Radio Network. My name is Dennis, one of the many net controllers that sit in the air chair for the Old Tube Radio Network that has been on Channel 11 on Saturday evenings at 8, beginning at 8 o'clock since I think about 1986. So I hear my voice coming back to me, so I'll have to make sure that indeed there are other things that aren't turned on. Let me see, right here. Is that the one? That's the one right there. I'm getting good at this. I'm getting good at tracking things down. Anyway, let me stop talking and see if there's anybody out there like an early check-in through the skip over. Or if there's anybody that can actually hear me through the skip. That's probably what I should be asking.
10-7 here out there a little bit. Like the birds bumping down with you too. We do it again. KID 019 Big Island gone.
Don't you like that? 20 over signals from the Big Island. We will get started, and of course, if you can't get in, we'll be here till at least 10 o'clock. You can jump in at any time for a shortwave listener check-in. We'll have the tube radio check-ins coming up after the net. And hopefully everybody will get to do and say what they want. SWL 00, that's 195 way up in the hills. I'm going to get him checked in because I know he's out there, and we will catch him on the other side of the roll call here. So 195 00, you are checked in over. Break. Go ahead, sir. We'll get you checked in.
Yeah, Dennis, good evening. 53 is a legend. Bel Air checking in.
All right, 53 is in. 53, thank you, Bel Air, over.
Have a good evening there, Dennis.
All right, and thank you, OBP, since 1986. Now, OBP should know, because he's one... SWL number 2, we're going to check in here in a moment, is one of the instigators, along with SWL number 1, who, wherever he might be cosmically, is looking down and saying, "Yeah, you guys are doing okay with that old tube radio thing, Mr. OBP," where signals are always 9 pounds and good modulation, somewhere around Chestnut and Herndon. We'll get SWL 3 checked in. I think he is out and about somewhere. Mr. Rainmaker Levon is on frequency with us here from his appearance from Old Radio Night. Thanks for joining us, Levon from the Hudson Valley of New York. You're looking good.
Right back. Cover the top, man. You're looking good as usual yourself.
SWL number 7.
Can I get on any?
SWL 7 checking in.
Hello.
All right, the skip is no match for you. You're sounding good. The X is in the square. Microphonium is sounding good.
7
Why, thank you.
9 said 10 watts is no good. Kill that gremlin, I'll see.
And if you are checking in at oldtuberadio.com, which you can do, or listen in over there, or check the link and go to the YouTube video. I don't even know what it's called. Probably just Old Tube Radio Network Live for today's date, which is April 22nd of 2023. There's a little chat window side. I will keep my eye out on that. And I always, after the program, after the net, always go back and read the items that I missed. Get you checked in for those who need early check-ins. We'll make sure that you get those. SWL 10 and 11 from beautiful Idaho, where the sun is finally, 10 and 30. 11 is saying, wait a minute, did someone say, did someone say Idaho? 11, or 10 and 30. We'll get to SWL checked in. Thanks for joining us tonight, Chrissy. Always glad to have you aboard. Let's go over to, speaking of SWL 11, Mr. Cornbread, and of course followed closely at the virtual microphonium by SWL 12, Dapper Dan, who is always likes to make sure, I need to put the right, how do these things happen? Isn't that what I want? I want this one. Yeah, because then it's going to show that you are checked in, or we're checking you in if you're watching the video. So that's a much better video, and I'm supposed to put the display up, right? See that you can see my giant finger on the screen there. Let's do. I guess that's okay. Main is just people can give their self a check in on the S meter. 11 and 12. Dan and Dapper Dan, thanks. Over to SWL 13. And the break OTR, go ahead, 61 over. Sneaking a check-in is a good thing because you never know what's coming up. I hear you, sir. Thanks for stopping by. We will get you checked in over. And that is, let me go over to 61 and get checked in. And who is it? UDX 4570 saying I'm probably wearing high karate. That would be a perfect cologne, which is big in the, 1970s when karate was the thing. And I don't know, I hesitate to check the pockets of the seersucker suit here because I may find something like that. All right, all of a sudden, everything went away. Now it's back. I like that. Let's go over to SWL 14, over.
Yeah, howdy, Dennis. Hopefully you can hear me good this evening. SWL 14 checking in.
Oh my gosh, you are super strong. Did you change your antenna or something?
Negative.
Hello, audio, check 1, 2, audio, hello, test.
All right, well, it's way up there. The skip is still in here on Channel 11, but you're doing good. So we got you checked in. If you are by the radio room coming up, we will check in some radios. This is the Old Tube Radio Network, Central California, streaming at oldtuberadio.net and taking your check-ins. Thanks, Sean.
Yeah, thank you much. Looking forward to later.
All right, maybe I raised my antenna and I just didn't know it. Maybe it's actually working the way it should. SWL 16, right here. Charlie, Anoka, Minnesota, looking good. And he's pointing. I say, "Where's? Oh, my water is right here, right in there." And that is the special brew. It looks kind of cloudy, but there's some type of a. No, it doesn't taste that bad. Some type of electrolyte or something. They're saying you look a little malnourished. Well, that's par for the course. So now they're feeding me vitamins or something so I can get through the program here. Thanks, Charlie. Got you checked in. Really good conditions. Wisconsin, Minnesota on 40 meters late at night, early morning here on the West Coast. So I don't know. Maybe we will hear you out there. We're getting that static thing again. I turned off the fan. It is warm here, but I turned off the fan because I don't want that extra flavor in the audio. SWL 17. SWL 18. I'm getting Mikey checked in from Facebook. Over to SWL 19. Is it to Derby, New York by way of Belfast, Maine? I don't know. What does it say on the thing tonight? Right there. Yeah, it's just the way it works. And Chet is up here in the front row with the cue cards tonight, as always. So if you see me stumble, it's blame Chet. He's not holding this card. He does a good job. Usually think, hey, look, read the cards. You don't have to think, just do it. Let's go over to SWL 20. I'm getting Harvey checked in. He said he might need a proxy. I do have the crossband set up, and I do have the Echo Link. Again, my other computer, now that I've fixed the sound card, the Echo Link's still not working. Oh, Tony is there. All right, we'll be chatting with Tony in a little bit. I think the Echo Link is up and running on that side. So let's go over to SWL 21. And that is Mr. JT. I don't know. Let me check. You know, the old radio night, which I think I have up in a thing here, it could still be going. Is it still going on? No, it has stopped. So let me see if I can bring it up. And that would be there. So sometimes the replays take a while to reload. And tonight he was on one of the new refurbed. I think it was a new refurbed Golden Eagle, and looking and sounding good as always. So I'm going to see if I can get a replay here for DD21 Dirty Diaper. Is there audio? I guess if I turn it up, there will be. There it is. Going on tonight. Let me bring in the video. There it is. Isn't that beautiful? The Golden Eagle. Tonight on Old Radio Night. A lot of you stopping by. From Old Radio Night, but that was what was going on. The Browning Golden Eagle, and we probably will have a few of those tonight coming by the Old Tube Radio Network. Get you checked in, Mr. JT. Let's see if we can hear or check in Anchorage, Alaska. Tyler, SWL 22.
You know this is a skip talking channel, right? Everybody trying to shoot skip. You're over here doing a check-in. What's up with that?
It's the Old Tube Radio Network. We have been here since 1986 on Saturday evenings. We are now streaming at oldtuberadio.net. You can go to your Universal Media Net web at oldtuberadio.net. Look for the glowing 6L6, and you will see what we do, where we talk about and listen for the tube radios. You might even have one. You've got great audio. You might even have a tube radio yourself, but thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, well, you know, skip's still going on. You know, everybody trying to shoot skip for thousands of miles, and doggone it, you're plugging everybody's ears, man. I understand you've been here since 86, but, you know, times change, you know what I'm saying? You guys have a good night, man. We'll bump on you later.
All right, thanks for stopping by. That is the cycle 25, where all of a sudden you are where you weren't minutes ago, and then 5 minutes you are someplace else. Join us next Saturday, 8 o'clock, the Old Tube Radio Network. Bring by the best that you've got. We'd like to hear it because you've got some great audio. Thanks for listening.
Hello,
all right, the Tango Echo Sierra. How about SWL 23? The 23 Skidoo. Shortwave listener 24. Checking in from beautiful wherever. Thank you, Joe. We got you checked in. SWL 25. SWL 27. You know, I think in all of Old Tube Radio history, that may be the first time that we've been accused of ruining Skipland.
You know who? You know where? The white ball with the mall. Bye, bye, bye.
Let's check Sacramento. Now, Gary has never been accused of ruining Skipland. In fact, he's got a little feather duster. He's out there often, dusting off the E and the F layers to make sure that Skipland is more mellifluous than ever. Gary's checking in. He's at a wedding, thought he would step out and check in and put the earpiece in. Well, you look good. You look good in your tuxedo. Way better than I do. And thanks for putting in the earpiece and helping us out here tonight. 28, you're checked in. Got to check in for SWL 29, Mr. Loner. And also Dwayne in Idaho, who is never accused of ruining Skipland, because for us, he is Skipland. So we expect to hear Dwayne chiming in tonight somewhere.
Up back to number 27 via the FM crossband.
Hey, and there's, let's go back. There's 27. There's SWL 27 on the crossband where there is no skip. We have got you checked in, sir. Over.
Roger. Thanks, Dennis. KI6QL.
KB6GFD. And a check-in from the crossband radio for shortwave listener number 27. And I have to update my lists to find all the people that may or may not have checked in, helping us wrecking. Maybe that will be the new OTR thing. The Old Tube Radio Network wrecking Skipland since 1986.
I got Mr. 99 in the shack. Cuba Mobile. Big Island, Hawaii. Brega, brega.
All right, 30 is checked in, and I want to make sure I got 27. Let's go to SWL 31.
You doing a thing yourself, man.
SWL 32.
I'm plugging Blue Farm. No pain, no strain. I appreciate.
And Private Thor is in. If you guys are in a little bit later when it calms down here, we might try the satellite uplink downlink for you guys on 27085 up there in Squamish. It's been working out really well, and you guys sound good, so stay tuned for that. Also, now here's a guy that doesn't wreck Skipland because, like that guy who invented the internet, this station invented Skipland. It wasn't around until he came up with the idea. SWL 23, 23 Skidoo checking in. He's from the Olive Garden Lounge, where the Espresso Trucking Company is busking for tips. And I hope they get a few. I hope they have a really big a brandy snifter glass there so they get a few. I'd put in a $2 bill if I was there. And the crowd is throwing breadsticks. Well, maybe they can turn them over and make some money. All right, 23, you are in, and thanks for joining us tonight. And go back and keep those, keep ETC from wrecking the place. Put them back behind the chicken wire so they don't get hurt out there with those breadsticks. The Old Tube Radio Network, looking for SWL 32. SWL 33, myself, Bozo Control, the honking proboscis, and everybody else around the shack here tonight. SWL 34, Jimmy, I'll get Railroader checked in. I know he's around. We might try the uplink with him if he's around and it's working. We have yet to have a successful link up that way, but I have a feeling that if the stars align correctly, we will be able to do that. Let me go over to the big screen here and see that if we have from Cheyenne, Wyoming, SWL 35, checking in just minutes ago, where I bet the weather is actually kind of nice. It's probably almost t-shirt weather in Cheyenne tonight. Mr. Bill, thanks for joining us on the Old Tube Radio Network. Mr. Bill and the gang of Red Monkey Communications fame used to have the biggest and the best radio shop right here in the Central Valley, keeping a lot of our radios that you still hear on today. Still here on today, thanks to Mr. Bill and the gang over there. I do see a Mikey, Mr. Cobra, SWL 13, we've got you checked in. Let's go to SWL 36. SWL 37.
47 checking in. Hey, good evening, Dennis.
And good evening. Sounding good. The skip is still in, but it's fading out, but you're doing a great job. We got the X and the square over.
All right, thank you. I'll be back.
Yeah, it looks good. And Foxman, don't forget to turn on the radio. And let me check. Let me check with the management. Can we turn it on early tonight, just so there's something to look at besides me? They're shaking there. Oh yeah, let's do that. Okay. Let me reach the knob. No smoke. All right, that's even better. Maybe we should we start the net with that on? Do you think? Do you think or don't you? Just I'll zoom in on that. Thank you. All right, let's go. And thank you, Chris. SWL 38. Oh, and there's Mr. 21. Sorry, my internet went out. What did Cornbread do when I was gone? I don't know. Did somebody say internet? Well, the playback, your playback was okay. On I don't know what part I was in on the old radio night. It was playing back good. Sometimes it takes a while. I mean, just because you're there. Let me go back. Let me turn it back on here. You got audio? No. Yeah, there it is. There's old radio night. There's the beautiful Browning Golden Eagle. And the, where's the microphonium? Yeah, the microphone. Yeah. So all was well on old radio night tonight. But I know how it is with that internet thing. That's why we try to focus on the radios. Back in when these radios were new, there was no internet. You never had to worry about, let me reboot the Cobra Cam 88. Never had to do that. SWL, looking for 38. SWL 39.
Hey, you getting the mini grass right now?
Yeah, we're getting the mini grass over. We're always getting the mini grass. Let's go to SWL 39. SWL 40. 66 degrees in the basement. It's summertime. 785, you are sounding good. Time to bring out the little portable fan and keep all those tubes and computers safe so they don't overheat. And Sam is saying we tried. Well, Sam, you know what? I know you wouldn't wreck Skipland. When you talk to Hawaii, tell them that we're here to have a good time, and our intent is to certainly not wreck Skipland. And so we apologize for that. Got you checked in, Sam. SWL 41. I saw Road Dog in there. 41 checking in. Tri-County React, Hudson Valley, New York. Saying hello, radio, and good evening to all. SWL 42. Ooh, and I've got a lot of static going on tonight. Hope that's as bad as it gets.
Like they said on the Super Bowl, the hammer hit hard. Hey, 99, the hammer hurt.
SWL 42.
Especially when you think your hammer's bigger and somebody...
No, is Skipland getting better audio? Or is that just my imagination? Let's go to SWL 43. Got a proxy for 43.
Hey, but 99, I just swing this thing down and put this small little KLV 400 in line and...
Trying to do some paperwork here to catch up. The J38 key is working. I thought it was going to not work, but it is. Let's go to SWL 44. Now, I wasn't able to make the Wednesday night net. I wasn't able to make the Friday night net. How about SWL 45? And 21, that is Baker Oscar Zulu Oscar to the 12th power, I think. Paul, if you can hear me. Paul, you are checked in up in North Fork. Over. SWL 46.
Were they grumbling about why? Who doing it?
SWL 47. SWL 48. Shortwave listener 49. SWL 50. Shortwave listener 51.
Shortwave listener 51 checking in.
Sounding good. You're sounding so good tonight, you may even be accused of wrecking Skipland. I got you checked in.
Check in.
Check-in's been going on for the fucking years, then. Oh, no. Oh, well. It is what it is, I guess. Can't change people's mind of what they think, no doubt about it.
We'd love you to check in. We'd love to have some tube radios coming in from all over the place. That's why we're here. To get as many tube radios on, whether they're from Central California, whether they're from the shores of the mini grass, the down under, Wisconsin, you name it. We're here to take the check-ins anywhere, anytime for those tube radios. Let's try SWL 52. Get to 52 checked in. Mr. Bel Air 53 checked in moments ago at the beginning of the net. Let me say hello. We got some interesting conditions tonight, that's for sure. Say hello to, over on the net side, the unknown SWL. We see you up there in the balcony, San Bernardino. Thanks for joining us. The famous Zappa song, Fresno, California, Bowling Green, Kentucky, Fairfax, Virginia, coming up to you. What is going on this morning around or near Latham in the UK, where it's 47 degrees and going up to a high of... I would give the weather forecast, but I don't know what it is. You're probably going to have a nice day out there. Take a jaunt out to the Salt Coats. Jump by the Queen Elizabeth II Parkview playing fields and then come on back and have a good time. Thanks for joining us. Who else is out on tonight? Woodland Park, Colorado, listening in and taking the measurements on the big meter. Waiting for Skipland to come in. San Francisco, hello to you. Is that X4000, I wonder? I wonder if that's X4000. Belfast, Maine, of course. And you know who else is in tonight? I do believe Hans is joining us. Where it is, they never give the weather report at where you guys are. I can't get the Soborg, Malmo. I can't get a weather report for anybody. But anyway, you're looking good. Thanks for joining us.
USY.
And speaking about joining us, let's say hello, radio, and get a check-in for SWL 52. Hello, radio.
Hey, good evening, Dennis, and everyone else on the net. I just turned it on and saw I was just a tad behind, but SWL 52 from behind the golden microphone, K6USY.
You know, it's perfect. I was doing a little tap dancing, looking at who is listening in and what's going on, and there you were. So perfect timing. Thanks for joining us, and we've got you checked in, KB6GFD.
Stacy, have a good weekend. Catch you later. I'm Renee, bro. I see you.
Page 3, if you're playing the home game, we got SWL 54 and a proxy. SWL 55.
517 Mini Grass Backwire.
SWL 55.
55 checking in.
It's like jump rope. You got to jump in and jump out right at the right time. We got you in over. All right, we'll get 65 as well. Here's a station that I think can get over Skipland without working up a sweat. SWL 56.
Good evening, Dennis and the net. 56. Not sweating it.
I know it's an interesting night tonight. Interesting conditions. Maybe we'll have some check-ins from near and far out. You're sounding good, as always. Thanks for listening. SWL 57.
57, 56, set, hut.
Looking for Brown Dog Audio. Hans says it's dark. Well, I guess it's, 4:30 in the morning there? 5:30, where you're at? Not raining, which I suppose could be a good thing. SWL 58.
Mud hole there, the pig. Porky the pig.
And SWL 59, Uncle Hairball was in from his appearance over at Old Radio Night, stopping by and saying hello, radio. We will get the X in the square. Thanks for joining us. Over. SWL 60.
Thank you there, Dennis. Doggone it, we're going to check in this evening, Dennis, a favorite of mine, Jake's Base, the DX2527. I hope we're making a good trip to you. SWL 60 checking in, Dennis.
You're making a great trip, and you can't see it, but on our list here, Jake is actually. Let's see, that's not what I want. I want this. Jake is actually, there it is. He's on the list on number 60 here. If you look at number 60, you will see that it says 2901 DX2527 radio. So he's always got to check in. Over.
Oh, you got that right, Dennis. And I hope that, he's turning over on that break in there for sure. We really enjoyed doing it. Jake's Base, again, 60, checking in.
All right, sounding good. We've got the mini grass. The rack of death there. What is that we're looking at? Got you checked in. Sounding good. And Hans says it's 5:37. All right, we're in daylight saving time here. We've got this hour ahead behind thing going on. So thanks for the update. I guess it's 3:37, so UTC. So you're an hour. You add an hour, you're at, right? You had 2 hours. You had 2 hours from UTC? On that, I will try to remember that. You are +2. We are -8. Here in Central California, we are, Greenwich, UTC -8 to get the correct time. Let's go. SWL 61 checked in earlier. Let's go to SWL 62. SWL 63. 63 is in Mr. Butterbean in North Georgia. Saw him. What's going on here? Hanging around the Old Radio Night, which is a good place to be on a Saturday evening. Over to Wisconsin. Like I said last night, Wisconsin, or was it 2 nights ago, booming in on 40 meters. Big signals without, having to run 1,500 watts. So we've got you checked in. Thank you, Craig, on the Old Tube Radio Network. 65 is checked in for Eric, SWL 66. SWL 67. All right, yeah, thanks, Hans. 2 hours. That should be your GMT +2. SWL 68. Michael was in earlier at the top of the net. NY, New York 157. We've got you checked in. All right, Mr. Brown Dog Audio. Always glad when people can get in during the live net. But you can always stop by and I guess leave a note on the Facebook page or check in somehow. Or we'll just get you doubly checked in next week. Over to shortwave listeners 69. Oh, Kenny was in too. Kenny was in early. If you're still in Kenny, staying up late, hello radio. If not, you will see the replay on the 69. Where is it? Up there? Is that where it is? Yeah, it's up over there. Saying check in. Let's go to SWL 70. Albert and the gang waving. We're going to try and pick you guys up today a little later. If you're going to stay up late when things calm down around here, we're going to see if we can't get you all checked in. Stan's checking in. I don't know what contest, if any, is going on, what QSO party. It was kind of quiet on. I didn't go up to 20 meters to find out what is happening on that contest. But thank you, Stan, for stopping by the Old Tube Radio Network. Let's go to SWL 72, Radio Boy. SWL 73. SWL 74. SWL 75. SWL 77. Got a note to Proxy 77, in which I will. SWL 78. Richard Wild Wildemar had a great contact with Richard on 40 meters after the net last week. The band was really good. He is... Where are you? Pick him. There he is. SWL 78. From a very warm Wildemar today. You guys beat us. I bet we were at 75. I bet you guys were in the 80s. So Richard is checked in here. Let's go to SWL 79. I'll have to see if 79 was in. But I'll get everybody checked in. SWL 80. And we will go to page 4. Try not to, as usual, I try not to break things. And what does that chat says? Oh, sorry about that. It says, it's pointing at the card. It says, read the card. It is that time. Before we go to page 4 for find out what's going on with Bob and Steve.
27.0850 TR channel 11.
Whoopee indeed. Let's see. I haven't even checked my REA meter yet. Hello, radio. It's okay. Looks like the audio could be a little low, but I don't know. Maybe that's what it needs to be if Skipland's complaining. What is going on episode 164 for April 22nd? Today is Earth Day. Yes, it is. We had a Earth Day, various Earth Day celebrations here in the Central Valley. One of the many was out at the City Community College, which it's actually a pretty big event. It takes up a lot of the campus, and they have things related to earthly days. And the radio station had a booth out there today. Still have long lines at the golf simulator. Well, it's not me. They took a look at my swing and said, why don't you go? No, everybody's invited. It's just, I'm not that good. It has been a big hit. It has. And the weather's been great for that. I even went and bought some of those funny little golf shoes, just so at least people would think that I'm good at this. They've uncovered the pool. I noticed that. They're starting to put the little umbrellas back around the tables. It looks great, and it won't be long. Got to wait for those 85-degree days. That makes a pool okay. And those are coming up maybe next week. Only 26 days, 624 hours away from the Dayton, Xenia, Greene County Hamvention. I actually see them starting to advertise, those great Hamvention deals. So if you're thinking about upgrading, buying that special radio and antenna, look for the deals coming up for the Dayton Hamvention. The Jingle Singers do want to go. Well, that's okay. Maybe they can, find some new jingles or something out there. Our flight pattern has been cleared to land at Greene County Airport. Good deal. It's a short runway, but we can do it. You get the right pilot, you can do it on a short runway. I know. My ham radio Elmer is a pilot, and he can take those little private jets and just land them perfectly on those short runways, and everybody comes out to say, wow, how did you do that? So it can be done. Only 10 minutes from the Hamfest. Perfect to get a I don't know if we want to walk, but we might be able to get a taxi or something to come back. We've got a great deal on Squire Sanders at a garage sale. One of my favorite radios that is really hard to find. If you can find the one that's got that funky digital clock with the numbers that turn, be super cool. It is set up in the Green Room Lounge. I didn't see it. When I went in, they always have it covered up. They always have it covered up just before the net, so you can't take a peek. But now it's open, so go out there to take a look at it. It is looks good for 60 years old. Yeah, I wish I looked that good for 60 years old. It's a nice radio. The Jingle Singers want to invite everyone to the NASCAR Talladega party in the Green Room Lounge. What? 2 p.m. tomorrow? You didn't? Okay, that's something new. I did not know about this. So we will make sure that we get everything spiffed up and get the popcorn off the floor so we can all be there tomorrow at 2 o'clock for our race fans, of which there are many, at the bar tonight from the Blue Moose Tavern in Mountain Falls, Colorado. Sandwiches, appetizers, pizza, and more. They're set up in the Green Room Lounge with their band. All right, well, hopefully ETC doesn't know about that, but they'll be here soon. And as we always say, so long to Bob and Steve, don't forget to feed the fish.
27.085 OTR Channel 11.
Back in a moment. Page 4. You got. Can you hear that? If I turned off the noise gate, you would probably hear that. Are they coming for? Are they coming for Bozo? Yeah, something's going on in the background there. All right, SWL 81. I'm pressing buttons and I'm forgetting to put the right ones on. Let's go to SWL 82.
82, checking in from the Ditch Banks of Biola. Good evening, Dennis. Trying to break through the mini grass. All right, Dale, you got 45.
Yeah, you're sounding good through the mini grass. I got tied up last night. I was not able to check into the net nor hear what was going on. How was the skip last night during the net?
Well, yeah, it was there. It was there, a lot of down under, and anyway, it's a lot worse tonight.
No, I guess talk. Let them talk story out there.
Wow. All right. Well, that's always good. You got a good antenna so Skipland can hear you, and you never get accused of breaking the Skipland either. All right. Well, you're sounding good. 82. Thanks for checking in, and join Ron and the group on the Ditch Bank sideband nets here in Central California. If the conditions are on, you'll hear it on 8 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time on 36 lower for tune up your sideband. And if you have the FM mode after the net, sometimes they'll switch over to FM, and check that out as well. Fridays at 8 p.m. here in the Central California. Thanks. All right, well, I don't know. If you see red lights flashing behind me in the window, then it is probably the FCC wondering what's going on. You know, when you wreck Skipland, people complain. And maybe that is, they've sent the cops out. Let's go to SWL 83. And then I will get shortwave listeners 84, 86, 87, and 88 checked in. Cheerios Kid, the Mountain Maid, Tandy Girl, and the Snowy Owl, respectively.
Big brother, 899. Whatever you're doing, man, you're doing it, and you're sounding good out here. 99, your friend, 527.
And Skidoo says, let's take a shot for every time someone says the mini grass. We did that a couple of weeks ago. We took a shot for every time someone said cotton picker. And a lot of stations wound up on the floor at about 9:30. So just be careful. SWL 89. SWL 90. SWL 91.
Check 1 2 1 2.
And that would be Mr. Felix popping up there, saying hello and hello radio to all the SWLs. I wasn't thinking. I have. Let me see if I can find it. Just a moment here. OTR standing by.
25 bad boy. One more time. 25 bad boy. Said bomb, 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 bomb.
Hello, 25. Hello, 25. Bad boy, Goose waving the Saturday handbreaker.
I will drop out with the front hand right there, right now. Goose, what is the time? 25, bad boy with the wave. Hello.
Yeah, check, man. It's always a pleasure, man. 25,
All right, well, I can't do it because I just don't know how to operate this this device. All right, let's just put that away. Let's go to, sorry about that, SWL 92. SWL 93. SWL 95. And that would be Warthog 95. I'll make sure I didn't miss anybody. SWL 96.
Yes, 96.
96, I hear you. 96, I hear you. Direct. Over.
I don't mind, 96. 25, low altitude.
All right, thanks, Dennis. You're sounding good. The Old Tube Radio Network is what you're listening to, if you're listening to it at all, here in Central California, streaming live at oldtuberadio.net on your Universal Media Net web device with video. And we are here to talk about, listen for, and check in the great tube radios, the vacuum tube radios from 1958 to 1978, when most of them were made. So if you've got one, keep in mind that you don't have to, this is not a club, there's no secret handshakes, you don't have to pay any dues, but we do want to hear your tube radios coming up during the tube radio check-in.
I'm just cruising right on the line.
If indeed you were even listening. Let's go to SWL 97.
Sure, I could be wrong. I might have to be stand corrected. If I hear a red check out there, 15 out here on the...
And SWL 98, Tracy, I see you. Got you checked in. We're going to have a little problem getting connected up tonight. SWL 99, Radio Randy. Who is around? Randy will be... Now, there's a guy that can... He will be skip land when he checks in. SWL 99. And, we do have Echolink link up tonight, and I think it is working. And a good way to check, if I can do this, a good way to check if the Echolink link is working is check in with our TOTA coordinator, Tubes on the Air coordinator. That's SWL 100, Tony in McClellanville, South Carolina. Is the Echolink link up and working? Over.
I'm going to find the highest one out there.
Good evening, Dennis. The Echo Link is working well. Please check in SWL 100. Back to net control, KD4 BAO.
All right, it is working well. Audio sounds good. We get you checked in, and the Tubes on the Air will be having its first activation soon. Thanks for joining us, KB6GFD. Echo Link doing a good job. Let's go to SWL 102.
Oh, here we got this. Don't plug it to you. I know that about it. I might just throw it in the gulch.
And John is in. I'm always behind on the numbers here. So we go. Did someone say 102? Yes. Yes, you made me look. Get you checked in. Thanks. Shortwave listener 100 and where's John is in Arkansas. Maybe we'll hear you when skip land isn't broken. SWL 103. I doubt he's going to hear me up in the hill. SWL 109. He will probably check in shortly via the Universal Media Net web. SWL 110. SWL 111. And a proxy check-in for Robert. I don't think we're going to make Reedley tonight. SWL 113.
030. Aloha kako. Mahalo mapono. Take care, my brother. Mahalo for the get back.
SWL 114. 114.
114.
Oh, man. Over the skip with the no problem, Wayne. Thank you for checking in tonight in the Old Tube Radio Network.
Thank you for the check-in. 3015.
SWL 128. John, you know, when you check in at oldtuberadio.net, as John often does, or I should say as he always does, you never have to worry about Skipland covering you up, because it won't. Thanks for checking in 128, SWL 131. SWL 133. I'm going to get Northwest Dave checked in, because I bet he's out there. I just can't hear me with all the noise. Let's try shortwave listener 135.
SWL 135 checking in, if you can hear me.
Yeah, you're a good 5 over S9 and above the Skipland at this point.
I'm reading a mail.
All right, got you, Cliff. Over.
Roger.
SWL 137. Shortwave listener 145. Tony up in the hills with all the noise.
A little bit and kind of rob them. Got it going right about now. Good.
And I will get Tony checked in, who runs the Friday night net, or Friday morning net. Not the Friday night net, but the Friday morning net up on 2 meters. Does a great job. I haven't been able to check into that lately, but it does exist. So if you're listening, Tony, we've got you checked in. Over.
Spend time with the family out there around the blessings, no doubt about it.
SWL 147, that is Neil in Fayetteville, North Carolina, checking in the house. Had good conditions all week. Yeah, they've been good. Sunspot numbers were up. In fact, OBP said we're still in triple digits, but we're down like 111. So that's been the lowest it's been all week, but it's still a good number. California, Washington, Arizona, Utah in his receiver, some UK and Ireland, which you guys that way you get. I hear on 40 meters, I'm hearing the guys in Connecticut and New York talking to the audio guys, hi-fi audio guys in the UK, but I can't hear them, doggone it. That happens in the mornings on our band. It happens in the evenings on the lower frequencies. Weather is nice, springtime in the south. Thanks for checking in 147.
So I thought I heard somebody out there.
Break.
Over to SWL 188.
Good evening, Tom Dennis. Good evening, Tom, to all the SWLs. 188 checking in.
All right, Bobby, we've got you checked in through the noise. Sounding good. Over.
10-4, yes, sir. It is a crazy night.
Make sure you watch that back in.
When it is checked in, let me give a call from 195. If you can jump through. Can you jump through the noise? 195. Over. All right, you did it. I heard the 195. That is good enough for a check-in and a check-in. But I was thinking when the sun would go down, and it is, you can see behind me, it's down. They're in their gray line. That's what's going on. And Mr. OBP, as he always does, predicted that he said, you're going to have a little bit of a challenge tonight on the roll call. But we've accepted that challenge, regardless of whether Skipland is 9 pounds in good modulation or bad modulation at Chestnut and Herndon. Let's go to SWL 226.
No doubt about it.
And let's see, did we ran the stations listening in. Who's joining us? Edmonton, Alberta. McHenry, Illinois. Mariposa, California. Mariposa. Well, maybe that's 226. Jeff, I'm checking in. Mr. Shockwave, if that's you, you're checked in. Who else before we head over to the radios? 390 Wagon Master. Hello, radio. Thanks for joining us. Palm Springs is out there, 4570. Always good to see the stations that are just hoping that there'll be some Skipland, like Isaiah, watching in on the video tonight. 483, Mr. Mudbucket. Mudbucket is in. Always good to hear Mudbucket, who I believe hangs around the old radio night, which is a good thing. You gotta love that. Gotta love that Browning Golden Eagle Mark III. Mike T. Friendly Candy Company. Yeah, I think they were out to get me. K. Christopher. I agree, one of the best hobbies ever. And the net. We've been doing this a long time. I'm just one of the guys that sits in the air chair. But the radios are the star of the net, that's for sure. TJ Washington, oh my gosh. Long time no hear, sir. Radio check-in, indeed. Thanks for remembering the Saturday night place to be is sometimes the Old Tube Radio Network. Uniform Delta X-Ray 347 in Tennessee. Hello, radio. Good evening to you. Thanks for jumping in on the Old Tube Radio Network. Oh, and I forgot Van Man. Let me get Van Man checked in. He's usually at the top of my page. Where did you go? Okay, you're in the mezzanine tonight. All right, no problem. There's good things, good food in that area as well. Hans, of course, is wait for the sun to come up. Had 4 hours, 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock. That sun should be coming up over there. All right, I'm going to stop talking, which everybody says is a good thing, and we will be listening for the radios. I had to do a couple of things here, and we will have. What's that? Wait a minute. Hold on. He's holding up. You know, Chet does the cue card. See, can I have that card? Let me see this. Okay, I don't know what that means. What does the question mark mean? Is that like get on with it? Get on with the program. All right. What are you talking about? No, okay. No, that's the crew here is very good about making sure that we put on the radios when possible. All right. So that was my cue to get air. All right. But you know, I'm glad they're here. Otherwise, I would not know what to do. Back in a moment on your Old Tube Radio Network.
Looking good out here this evening. Looking large. 99 Whiskey 2 waving at you. Aloha. Yeah, right there, 99. Yeah, channel just came alive, man. Channel just came alive, and I like to think some of it's your fault. Take care, 99. Have a good evening. Have a good weekend. We'll catch you later. Channel just came alive, and Crazy Chicken, we're waving right back, man. Crazy Chicken, Whiskey 2 waving right back. Have a good evening and a good weekend, Crazy Chicken. Aloha.
All right, is that time for the Tube Radios to do their thing on your Old Tube Radio Network.
You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
Okay, I'm back. I did rush back over to the air chair. Let's see, I got X4000 checked in. Yeah, Tim Tron, the ever-popular GNJ, might be watching tonight. I've got to get a hold of you. He's wanting to ask some questions, probably about why does your video look so 1960s? Where's that resolution, right? All right, Tube Radio time. I will say It is your turn. Let me go to the clear the rigs, go to the radios, and OTR is going to be standing by. Give it a couple tries through the skip. A reminder, you don't need to have any numbers or any special thing to stop by, make a check-in or comment. The old Tube Radio Network, what we do best is listen for the Tube radios, our Tube radio operators. So if you find yourself in front of one of those classic radios and you're somewhere where you can be heard on Channel 11, we want to hear from you. And so here we go. OTR standing by. Oh, and tonight's pen. Who said that? Okay. Tonight's pen tonight, as we get started off, is from D&J Radio Sales. I don't have my special light on. That's 226 North. Morgan? Where is this at? Idaho Falls. Let me put it on the less than stellar. Where is it? The less than stellar close-up cam. And there you go. Radio Sales. And if you stop waving around, see, it's got an autofocus thing. Yeah. Can you see that? No, because I can't hold it straight. And I haven't been drinking. But anyway, that is the pen tonight. Another great pen. It's sort of this gold whatever. So it's going in the pocket protector. And then we will say any and all check-ins, OTR listening. All right, 60. We will take it. I gotta find my list. I already signed in, so we'll put you in. Joe, sounding good. Take a transmission. Tell me what you got. We'll go to the Rolodex and hopefully have a picture of it.
Thank you much, Dennis. Thank you much. I know conditions are still a little heavy, but we'll do the best we can. Dennis, I'd like to check in by Johnson, 200.
All right, EF Johnson. I will go to that spot in the Rolodex and look for the... and they didn't put a Roman numeral 2. Or what's the other one? The regular Arabic, I don't know, 2, but they spelled it out like they do on those fancy addresses when they spell out, you live at 719 and they spell out 7 in the word 19. So anyway, it's good. I think it's warmed up. Take a transmission.
Thank you, Dennis. Yeah, they did. They went to the capital T and the W, capital W and an O. Johnson Messenger, TWO. Doggone it, 10 tubes, Dennis, 10 tubes and 10 channels. And we are talking on a gray base, D104.
D104, all right. And that microphone, like the 223, or that radio, like the 223, wasn't sold with a desk microphone because it was base and mobile. But I would suppose that were you to have some, and those were hardwired in, but some of them had, after ex post facto mic plugs wired in. But I'm thinking that the little Turner desk microphone that they made for the 223 will also work on that. But that's not to say that your D104 isn't doing a bad job, because it isn't. It's sounding good. Over.
Well, thank you much, Dennis. On my other Johnson, now we have got the original desk mic, and it's non-powered. It would have been nice, but we'll take it as it is. And this one here, yeah, I guess this one was hardwired, and there was a little bit of work there done on the side there to put the DEN plug on the left side of the radio, so I could run this D104. Other than that, there's not, like I say, much to look at. But what you got in front of you is your 4 little knobs. You have your fine tuner and then your lettered knobber on this side here to put you anywhere from A between Z, and of course your volume and your squelch. Squelch is a little awkward. Kind of works the other way around. And your modulation light, kind of neat, behind the screen, where a guy can't see it, but well, once you key up, it's there.
It is there, and it's good. Johnson's always had good audio, good modulation. I wanted to make a note. We were showing a photo from the collection of John Richardson, who has, and I don't think that's Photoshop. That's the real deal. Where you put him, I don't know. Has he got it in front of a mirror? I don't know. If there's some trickery going on there, I don't think so. John wouldn't do that to us. Showing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Viking white faces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Messenger 2s. So I just want to let people know that is not your shack. You only have one of the Messenger 2s, right?
I only have one of the Messenger 2s. The other one is 223.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's looking good, sounding good. It's helping us to get started off as the first radio of the evening tonight. And they told me to look at my lights. This is radio. I don't need lights, but just in case. Sounding good. Good audio. Oh, let me do, I haven't done it in a while. I can't remember how that one's working. Take another transmission. I will do a frequency check. Over.
Thank you much on that, Dennis. It never hurts to do that. If it needs a little work, of course, a guy can have that done.
Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Pretty good. 84, 27,0848 or so. It's about 200 cycles low. Nobody's going to notice that. Well within the FCC recommended, I don't know, was it 700 cycles, something like that. So you're good to go. It should last another 20. Should last another 20 years. Over.
Oh, I'm definitely hoping so, Dennis. I really enjoy these radios. Hey, okay, thank you for letting me check in the Messenger, the T00. We had another one warming up.
135.
And I noticed the skip has sort of gone away. I hate to say anything, but maybe it hasn't. But I do hear 135. Hello, Cliff. Over.
Oh, okay. Don't turn the page on your Rolodex. Let's see, this is a radio by Edgar F. Johnson Company in, I've forgotten where they are now. Is it Waseca, Minnesota? I'm pretty sure it's Waseca, Minnesota. And this is the one that comes just before that one. This is the Johnson Viking Messenger. Also known as the Messenger 1 or the white-faced Johnson. Back to you.
All right, perfect. Let me do a couple of ads here for those that are looking at the pictures. Personal two-way radio for business or pleasure. That's another thing that we forget. The Citizen Band radio was also, something you would use for your business. You'd have a call, base to Unit 1. Here's a business guy in his hat. How did they get this picture? It's like they're shining this light in his face. He's got a big shadow on the roof of the car, and he's got the microphone pointed out. The big steering wheel. Anyone can operate. No examination necessary. License issued by the FCC on request. So you got to request that thing from $134.95. I don't know if this is Canadian or not. Full fidelity voice reproduction. I've noticed that. You have full fidelity. Over.
Well, maybe a better mic might give fuller fidelity. The mic here is it's a Turner 355, I think. It's the plastic coffin-shaped dark gray handheld unamplified microphone. It says Johnson on it, but it looks just like the Johnson 355, I think. What else? Oh yeah, this one also has the 10 tubes, but only has 5 channels: crystal controlled, transmit, and receive. Back to you.
Yeah, that was the upgrade on the +2. But still good audio. I think I've got one of these. And the thing I noticed, the receiver is it selective? Sensitive? If somebody's close by on the adjacent channel, you were to think that maybe they're on the same channel if they're really close by. Oh, and a controversy here. Some of them have a red ring or a red surround around the volume and the what's that other knob? Is that the squelch? Anyway, do you have the red ring around yours? Over?
Negative. This does not have the red rings, and the Viking head does not have the background painting on it. It's just all bare metal. It does have the modulation light and an amber on light. But yeah, no, this is not the cool one with the fancy paint job.
All right, I don't know if that was an early thing or a later thing or a West Coast thing or whatever, but some of them do have that in the photo that we're showing. This is an advertisement from E.F. Johnson. You were correct, in Waseca, Minnesota, manufactures the world's most widely used personal communications transmitters. But all of my... Oh, here's the one in Elvis Presley's limo. Let me see if Elvis... Oh, well, it doesn't like that shot. I'm going to see if the one that Elvis had would do that, but maybe not. Everything else, those only exist... Oh, no, this one does have red on it. Okay, that's one of our other photos. I don't think that makes any difference on the way it sounds, though.
Yeah, I don't think so either, but I'm not sure what that's all about, because I've seen plenty of pictures of them that do have the red rings around the volume and squelch knobs, and then the black background and the red J, behind the Viking head. But yeah, this one, as far as I've been able to tell, never had any of that.
All right, and let's see. From the files of 23 could do the mobile mount for the Messenger 1 and 2 had a bolt going through the case from side to side, and the mic clip was a bent wire. Well, the photo that we're showing does have, let me go back, does have the mic phone on the clip, but do you have the mounting brackets or the mic clip on that one?
I do not have the mounting bracket, but the holes for it are there. There's, 4 holes, I think, on each side near the top, which are clearly for the mounting bracket. And this is not the original mic clip. This is like a regular, 3-pronged kind of mic clip that's screwed into the tiny holes in the upper right-hand corner. And it does the job.
Yeah, here's a shot showing the mic clip. So it appears that, like they said, if it's going through the case on either side and it was mobile, what would be more convenient to mount it on the left side or the right side, but you could mount it nonetheless. E.F. Johnson, Edgar F. Johnson. Let me see, since we've had 2 F. Johnsons in a row, if I still have the quickly information. Company founded in 1923 by Edgar F. Johnson and his wife Ethel. I don't know what her... I wonder if she was an E.F. Johnson, and it began as a mail-order business selling radio transmitting parts. So there you go.
Oh, and yeah, the mic also is on this one is hardwired into the lower central front of the radio. Some people, there's a provision on the side of the chassis. I'd say the lower left-hand side of the chassis, where you could actually punch a hole through the case and install a mic jack there, but this one is still just hardwired, I think probably as it originally was, into the radio.
And not a problem punching a hole in the case because it has many holes already. It's got the little convection cooling. It's not a solid case. You can... were you to stand up and look down into that radio, you would see the internal workings, no doubt.
Oh yeah, I can see all the little tubes glowing, screen ventilation. It's very well ventilated. And yeah, this way you can see all the glowy tubes right through it.
And the Old Tube Radio Network, glowy tubes is a good thing. Jingle Singers are standing by, but we are finishing up here with radio number 2. Mr. Green Arrow on one of the classics that pretty much, along with Browning, I don't know if Lafayette was actually in the picture way back in 58 or 59, but this was one of the radios that, when you were the first pioneers of the citizen band radio that was on the 11-meter band, you probably had one of these radios. Take a transmission, and thanks for bringing it by. Over.
No, I just hope it sounds okay, with the original mic here. Joe's sure does sound powerful over here. With that D104, that thing sounds awesome. If this sounds half as good as that, then it's doing a great job. Okay, we'll let the channel roll. Thanks for letting me check it in. I was looking at my paperwork, and I realized I hadn't checked this one in since April of last year. So I figure I better heat the thing up and get it on the air. Thanks again, and we'll catch you next week.
All right. What is that noise? Got a strange noise. I don't know if you can hear that or not coming in my microphone. And they also made very heavy-duty CB walkie-talkies, like a watt, 2 watts, and one of the first people that made that because, you needed a portable radio field communications. I don't think we've ever checked in a walkie-talkie. I guess we could. I doubt they had tubes. They probably had some pretty big, hefty batteries in them. So thanks for coming by. It's the time for the Jingle Singers. I had the S-meter up, too. If you watch the playback, you will get to see your Give Yourself a Signal report. Going to the Jingle Singers we are, because I don't think we've heard from them much yet tonight. The Old Tube Radio Network, Real Radio's Glowing in the Dark. We will be listening for radio number 3 right after this.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? Greetings to you, wherever you are. The friendliest station for you by far is known to all as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
The station for you is
OTR.
37.
Well, wait a minute. Is the station for you OTR? Over.
You talking to me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I want to check in a radio.
All right, I can help you do that. Oh, maybe that's what I'm hearing. I think the helicopter is flying about here. Maybe that's what's coming through my headphoniums. I have reserved radio number 3 for you. Over.
Well, thank you very much. I would like to check in my general radio telephone, my Super MC11A. I don't know if it's as loud as those other people's radios. That's Joe and Cliff over there. They're big strappers. But this little strapper here wanted to check in his general, and we are running this here with the handheld stock microphone. Over.
All right, we'll get that checked in for radio number 3. That is now that radio right there is now a semi-official radio of Old Radio Night, believe it or not. Now that Old Radio Night has one of our favorite West Coast radios to kind of promote the sound from Burbank, California and beyond. Sounding pretty good. Looks good. Take a transmission. Over.
Okay, I heard that wobbling noise again on your radio when you keyed up that time, but it went away. I don't know what it is, but it sounded like noise. It's weird noise, but it wasn't messing you up. You came over it, but I just thought I'd let you know. But yes, this is my journal, and yes, it is still working, and I am swinging up over 20, so about 22, 23, something like that. And not Skidoos, but Christopher's.
All right, you know what that is? I'll turn off the expander. It is the low frequency, because I'm running the condenser microphone. And it's the low frequency noise because I've got the window wide open to get some fresh air. It's the low frequency noise from the chopper. So there must have been something to all those sirens we were hearing. Over.
It sounds like a butterfly or a moth or something there at your speaker. I mean, it's your microphone.
Yeah, like something's rattling it. So it's just enough vibration. So much for the shock mount. Maybe I don't have the thing mounted right. But anyway, we don't care about my radio. We want to hear more from yours. Take a transmission.
Everything will just sound different, man.
Well, they got coming in there pretty good from the East Coast. It sounds like, or Hawaii, probably. I know it's probably Hawaii. But yeah, it's still working, Dennis. This is it for me tonight. I only was able to get to 2 of the radios. The other 2 are hidden cylinder stuff. So, but I had to at least get in there. I mean, I getting lonely out here. Didn't get to key up anything, so I got to key up anyway. I got to check in last night and tonight. So hey, I'm doing good.
That is good. You're one better than me. I didn't get in last night on the ditch banks, but of course I'm here tonight, like you are. Radio number 3 on the General Radio Telephone, Super MC11A, sounding good on the West Coast. Sounds good on old Radio Night when it's in the control point, which is that radio is made to be a net control radio for sure. Thanks for stopping by.
Now, what was that you saying something about the official radio for what? I didn't quite understand what was going on in that.
The General Radio Telephone Super MC11A, like you were looking at there, is now one of the semi-official radios for old Radio Night that happens before this net from the Wasama Swamps of South Carolina.
Oh, they were saying about my radio, or they had one like it?
They have one like you have there now that they rotate into the mix.
Oh, okay, well that's good.
And yeah, I think if you ever get on the YouTube for that channel, you will see it. I think last week they did.
I have to check it out then. I've been slacking a whole lot.
Well, this is the slacking a whole lot frequency, so join us.
Okay, Dennis. I'm going to get off here. Let somebody check in another good radio.
Okay, and that is a good radio. We can only check in good radios. Who is the breaking station? Over.
195. I'm ready to check the unit out.
Yeah, you're still making it, even though the skip is big time.
Okay, thank you, Dennis.
Okay, the voice of 195, way up over yonder in the foothills. Also the voice of 00, believe it or not. The Old Tube Radio Network, they say the Jingle Singers like to do something, and that is good. They got to earn their keep around here. We will be back shortly with your radios on the Old Tube Radio Network.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, for music and the latest news from home and from afar, the station for you is
OTR, Old Tube Radio.
The station for you is
OTR.
Listening for Radio 4.
60.
All right, we have 2. I believe we have 2. So, Joe, step up in the air chair. You will be Radio 4. But before you take a transmission, who is the other station? Over.
109 crowd out of Soleil checking.
Hey, no problem. Hey, thanks for jumping in. It has been super noisy. I hear you just fine, and we will give 109 a check-in. Over. All right, Crawdad is in 109, sounding good. I look for you on the chat, but you are live and direct, so good thing. All right, Joe, take a transmission. Tell us what you got. Over.
Well, we're going to change it around just a little bit there, Dennis. We'd like to check in our pretty little blue radio with all our fancy hardware and the original knobs and with the original hand mic. Of course, it was a hardwired mic to begin with, but Harvey changed that around. But doggone it, we'd like to check this one in. 7 tubes, 8 channels. We're on a Turner Plus 3, Dennis.
You know, I've always, the Plus 3 is a good mic. I can't say I'm a big fan of the Plus 3, but I tell you, that is a perfect match for that. And I've said this before, you have it right. So yeah, put the Post-it wherever it's set, don't need to turn it up, don't need to turn it down. Does a good job. World Radio Labs, WRL. We talked about E.F. Johnson, and just like E.F. Johnson, World Radio Laboratories started in the early or the mid 20th century from Leo Meyerson in Council Bluffs, Iowa. And they went from radio parts to big-time amateur radio stuff, but they didn't overlook the 5-watt radios of the Class D 11-meter Citizen Radio Service, and we are hearing one of them now take a transmission.
Yes, you are, Dennis. Doggone it, a whole 5 watts probably. Might be a little under, but not again another big fancy radio, but I call it a half a loaf. It has 4 knobs on it. It has one crystal slot in the front there, so a guy could put in possibly his favorite channel. And I did a little bit of fine tuning there on you there, and boy, you just come in here gangbusters. Really cleared up your audio and stuff. Well, I'm kind of happy talking off this little hustler bass.
And we are too, and it's nice having the tuning. Because sometimes, especially during skip, you can tune off to the side a little bit, and actually it's a really good receive tool. Where especially if this interfering station coming in is a little off frequency, you can tune to the other side and hear things. Because as you know, on AM we are the AM carrier, and with lower sideband and upper sideband. So as you tune to either the left or the right, you know how it sounds. It's almost like he's on sideband, right? And because I am. Because you're listening to my lower sideband without the aid of the carrier insertion, or likewise when you go tune it towards channel 12, you're listening to my upper sideband, since I'm transmitting double sideband with an AM carrier. And then, like Goldilocks and the Three Bears, you tune it right to the center where it's just right, put a little AM carrier insertion, and there is the AM audio. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, nice the way that works. We have a little red light indicator light, I guess, tells us we're operating. Of course, you got your volume and your squelch. And then, of course, you've got your spotter switch on or off. And I think right now we are on off position. We have your little channel selector, which we're on channel 3, would give us this channel, OTR. And we have the crystal switch, which is on tone, I think, from what I can see. Kind of a weird little setup. And then, of course, you got your fine-tuning, which is kind of neat about this.
All right, very good. Don't go away. I wanted to acknowledge Sean, thank you. SWL 45, that's Paul. Paul and Kelly up in North Fork. I don't know if you can hear me through the noise, Paul, but we'll get you checked in. Don't know if you've got an antenna issue there, but we have somebody that hears you down here. So 45, we hear you, and we'll be listening to see if the DX goes away a little bit, so that we can get you checked in. Thank you, Sean, for that. Paul's up in North Fork. Also, one of the stations listening, and you probably don't have the wherewithal to make a measurement, and I don't have in my Rolodex the measurements of the radio, but someone was curious as to the physical size. That is to say, if you measured across the front with a tape measure or ruler, it would be 14 inches, 12 inches, how deep it is. My guess is it's definitely wider than any of the messengers, or the Messenger 2, but maybe not as deep. Over.
Well, Dennis, this has a little oddball size. So like I said, I call it if you could imagine what the measurements would be on a half a loaf of bread, it would be the perfect measurement on this. Figure about 9 inches. 9 inches across, about 4 inches deep. And that pretty much sums it up. A little 9x4. Of course, with all the hardware and the little doodads on it, like the mic hanger. This was ready to go picnicking, Dennis.
Yeah, I like that. A little picnic radio. Well, yeah, and we used to call, you know what? We used to call the messenger, the Johnson Messenger, the loaf of bread radio. Somebody said it's about the size of a loaf of bread. And so, likewise, I guess this is the Wonder Bread radio. From World Radio Labs, the Blue Hustler, 7 tubes. They made it work with just 7 tubes. Possibility for you to plug in an external crystal, so you don't have to pull the radio apart to add extra channels if you don't want. They threw in an S meter, and it is still working. Very rare around these parts or any parts, and produced by a manufacturer that is well respected in the amateur radio field for some very nice large transmitters. In fact, there's a Globe King 500 on auction right now, and this radio is, you know, the size of a small dorm refrigerator. Runs 500 watts on AM, and it's made by the same guy. So it's got good bones. Over to you for transmission, Joe, and thanks for bringing it by. And then we will be listening for some more. But back to you.
Thank you much, sir, Dennis. Doggone it, we really enjoy keying this one up. And the meter is in vertical position. Kind of starts a little backwards. It starts up, starts down or starts up, goes down, then comes back up, something like that. But anyway, you're pegging it out. That's the main thing. Okay, Dennis, thanks a whole lot. We got another one warming up.
All right, sounds good. The Old Tube Radio Network, real radio is glowing in the dark. 9:30 p.m. here, daylight time in Central California. Jingle singers are at the ready. Radio 5, 6, 7, and 8 all have spots. Like we said before, if you've never checked in before, there is no prerequisite. Just the fact that you might have a tube radio you'd like to share with us, and that is a good thing. Back in a moment or two, I think. Where did the jingle singers go? Are they... Okay, sorry. The little red light didn't come on. Now it did.
What are the magic numbers?
27.085 megahertz, channel 11.
Are the magic letters?
OTR.
Right here in
Fresno, California.
Radio Magic.
Old Tube Radio.
For you.
All right, while the REA meters are up, test radio, just seeing if I've got enough audio. I think I do. Got positive and negative peaks, and you want to have the symmetry going in the plus mode. I think we're doing that. OTR standing by.
14.
Hey, 1-4. I hope you can hear me. I'm hearing some strange relay clicking going on. So that's not indicative that the net control has an issue. Thank you for the relay on SWL 45 Paul up in North Fork. One of like the original guys for OTR that has probably one of the biggest collections of radios here on the West Coast. I always like to get Paul checked in wherever we can. Take a transmission, and I know I'm going to be going over to the Browning Laboratories on the Rolodex. Over.
Yeah, he must be having problems, because I keep hearing him say 45 trying, so maybe Paul's having an antenna issue or something. But yeah, I'd like to check in on my Browning Golden Eagle Mark IV tonight, Dennis.
The Mark IV is a good thing. I think I have a brochure. I don't want the silk screen. And is that the 23 channel or a 40 channel version?
This is a 40 channel with sideband, upper and lower, I believe.
Okay, we've got a new sound. Sounds good tonight. There is the typical, they may have made a little slightly different version, but if you're watching the pictures at oldtuberadio.net, as I bring it up, yeah, you'll see what's in front of Sean. So another big transmitter receiver. And I'm going to say for these came out in 77, almost $900, and nobody, I don't think anybody else at that time in 1977, 67 maybe, with Demco, but nobody was still doing the transmitter receiver combination even in the amateur radio field. So Browning was the last holdout for sure on a transmitter-receiver combination, over.
Yeah, well, it's definitely a good radio. I've never had a problem with it since Harvey fixed it initially. I had some little capacitor or something popped on the bottom of it, but I've been super happy with it. Very reliable radio.
Super reliable, always has good audio. And I'll bring up a shot from the internet here on C. Kevin Pitts. And here's I think it's actually a better, let's see if I can bring it in. A better shot. Oh, yeah. Way, way better. So still has the gradiated receive where you've got the channel and then you have the frequency under the channel. Is that correct?
Yeah. Has the frequency under the channel.
Some of the early radios did that, but not a lot of them continued that. You've got the band spread. So I'm thinking that your band spread probably only works on receive and probably is good to use on when you're on sideband, right?
You know, I'm not too sure. I know it's my receiver's pretty touchy to find the sideband, and I don't use the spot button on the sideband anymore either, because the last time I pressed that, the entire transmitter turned off. But when I turn radio back on, everything comes back up. But I don't use the spot button for that reason.
Well, you know, the spot button actually does key. It keys a portion of the transmitter. I don't know if it just keys the driver or whatever, but it actually is transmitting whatever channel you're on or whatever channel you have selected, so that the receiver, very low level, so that the receiver can find it. And let's see, I'm checking one more thing I have questions about. Oh, okay, and it's there. If I can find the right thing. There is a dial on the transmitter. You've got your main channel selector. And there is a knob underneath that. Do you know, can you tell me what that does? Because it's different with the markings on it.
Yeah, it's pretty comical. What it does is it speeds up the channel selector on the transmitter. You can make it go real slow, or you can make it go 100 miles an hour. And it's kind of like a game to have it cranked up and try and make it land right on the channel you want. Every time you turn the radio on and off, it resets the transmitter back to channel 1. So you have to turn it back to the channel you want to transmit on. And then it just makes it go faster or slower.
Okay, I didn't know that until I had this nice picture that we're doing here from C. Kevin Pitts. All right, yeah, that's okay. It's a ratio. I see that it's like 1 to 1, 2 to 1, or something. It's just a scale of how it's going to gradiate the dial. Very strange. And maybe, you know, they put it in the focus group, and the focus group says, you know, we like this thing, but man, when you have to turn the dial. And my Regency Imperialist like that. It didn't go all the way around. So when you're on channel 23, and you wanted to go to 1, and you knew that 1 was right next to the 23 on the dial, you had to go all the way, click, 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 all the way back. That's however quickly your hand could do it. So maybe someone said, I know we can fix that problem. Dial your speed. Pretty cool. Radio number 5 on our list tonight. Coming in from Sanger. Good copy. Nice and quiet. My receiver is nice and quiet. The skip has pretty much gone out for those of us who are not in the mountains. The Browning Golden Eagle Mark IV, 1977. So I don't know if they made them in 78. They might have been, but maybe not through Browning. I'm not even sure the original Mark IVs were. All of them were through Browning. They really put out I don't have it here, I could bring it up, a color brochure for that radio. It's just, they probably spent a ton on that. $900, so that was a lot of money back then. A lot of money now, but we're glad you got it. Over.
Yeah, the skip's coming back in. I don't know if you can hear me, but Harvey was nice enough to give me the colored brochure. So I do have that, the original brochure that came with the radio. And hopefully you're hearing me through the skip. Appreciate it, Dennis. Thanks for letting me check in my Browning Eagle Mark IV.
Yeah, I can hear it coming in. Skip's coming in. We'll be listening. Maybe it's the mini grass. Maybe it's down under. They're having their gray line coming up soon. Coming up now. In fact, I could see where our gray line map is if I bring up the right photo here. And there it is. Let me bring it up for those who want to see what's going on. There's the gray line chart. We're in the gray line. Those two little dots right on the side, that's Hawaii. So it's happening right now. Thanks, Sean. Sounding good.
Yeah, thank you, Dennis. I got another one warmed up. Hopefully I can get in after this skip gets through.
Number 7.
Indeed. All right. Well, we will not have any problem with Skipland from number 7. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. Another Browning for the log there. Browning Mark III SSB.
All right, and I'll change, and this is a good position to put in the Mark III so those that are listening, and perhaps if they have the video turned on looking, can see and hear some of the differences between the two radios. Definitely a lot of visual, physical differences on the two radios. Not so sure about how it sounds audio-wise, but they did change the front of the radio quite a bit. It's sounding good. Take another transmission.
There we go. And this one also has the gold-plated D104, so it's got the Golden Eagle on the Golden Eagle.
You know what? There was one of those for sale. Was it on QRSat? It was one of the amateur sites that's popular. And I think it was $125. And it's one of those that you see that it's already sold when it's listed. It probably lasted about 10 minutes.
Wow, yeah, at that price I would figure it'd probably go very quickly.
Yeah, it did. So they are definitely a popular item to have, regardless of whether you want to pair it with your Browning radio or whatever radio you have, because it's a good match. As we have heard tonight, some of the D104s on the tube radios definitely doing a good job. Browning Golden Eagle, it is the Mark III SSB, meaning that it is the larger transmitter that matches the size of the receiver, where they put in the sideband item. And unlike the Mark IV that was produced for a year or so, as Browning was sort of transitioning into a different company and selling off the assets, 1972 is when this radio first came out, and they had a great run through 1976 when the FCC said, you must make 40-channel radios. And to make it even worse, we're not going to let you sell the 23-channel ones after a certain date. So these were probably flying out the door back then.
There you go. Well, I can definitely listen up to the 40 and above 40, actually, but cannot transmit above 23.
And that would be a question for Harvey. Back in 1972, did that receiver still go to the 40 channels? Because I remember I was hot and heavy CBing in 1972. Sideband was big. VFOs were big to go above channel 23, but there was never, I don't remember them being channelized as such. And I don't remember talk of the FCC saying, well, maybe we will or maybe we won't until later on. But they were smart enough to actually roll that in there, and it is certainly no crime or no FCC violation to put as many frequencies and label them the way you want in your receiver. The transmitter, a different story. So they were pretty smart in that situation. Browning Golden Eagle Mark III, back to you.
There you go. Yes, the transmitter says 27085. On the other hand, the receiver, which has the HF side on it, says 27405. So 11 is actually channel 40 on the HF.
Very interesting. All right. Well, they figured out how to do it and get it type accepted and not get in trouble. And I'm almost going to say what the percentage of Brownings that are still around from being sold. I bet it's pretty high. But there are still a lot of them around. They didn't get, when it didn't work, you didn't throw that radio into the junk pile, that's for sure. You either used it for parts or sat it somewhere thinking, someday I will fix this. Radio number 6, the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB from the collection of Mr. Ed. Thanks.
And thank you.
47.
Hello, 47, 7 to 47 with the Radio 7. Over.
Ooh, thank you. I hope I didn't step on anyone's toes there. I got in there pretty quick. Well, first of all, good evening from the Radio Lounge. Just getting back from a Frank Sinatra gig out in Madera, but this is 47, like I said, with the Robin T123 with the infamous Magic Eye tube, which it, even after all these years, just looks absolutely delightful.
Yeah, old Blue Eyes is back. And then we've got the Magic Green Eye on the radio as well. Seems like they could make some type of, if you go to a performance where you have to have, you know, speakers or something, that they could have a big Magic Eye winking and blinking. All right. First Robin of the evening. That always sounds good. Thanks for, I know you're probably tired, but thanks for jumping into the air chair and sharing a glow-in-the-dark radio with us here in the Central Valley and all over the planet Earth on the Universal Media Netweb at oldtuberadio.net. Over.
Oh, good. Yeah, thank you for letting me check it in. You know, I got in a few minutes ago and it was a little on the warm side here in the lounge, so I opened up the sliding glass door, and of course it's blowing a little bit, so it's just making the smell of warm vacuum tubes just kind of fill the room. Even after all these years, that smell is just it's magical. I know that's a dumb comment to make, but it smells great. It shouldn't, or at least this particular radio shouldn't smell that good. I think it had a history with its previous owner of a cat urinating on the speaker, but I think that speaker got replaced. Or I've got a problem with my nose. But anyways, there it is, the RUM T123 with the Magic Eye, a new-ish speaker, and smells gosh darn good.
It does. There's something about that original issue stuff that isn't pre-manufactured somewhere else. I want to say hello to Easy Street from Oregon listening in. One of our long-time viewer listeners. And I have a Halocrafters. It's a portable big radio that runs batteries with tubes in it. And I was, with a lid on it, it's an S72, and I have it sitting on a sort of display table in the living room, and I was wiping that down, polishing it up, and it's like, God, it's just like you said, it's got a leatherette case over wood, and it's like, this still smells like, you know, and it's a good odor. It still smells like an old radio. And this thing is from, I don't know, the early to mid 50s, but there's just something about it. So I hope it's not a toxic smell, like it's you know, like paraquat or something. I hope there's nothing in there that, well, the reason it's doing that, you see, is because it's you know, it's something bad, but I don't think so.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, if this particular smell is put off by poisonous fumes, I'm in trouble. Just because often it does kind of, it doesn't fill the entire room with the smell. I don't know what it is, and I'm sorry, I know this is just an oddball thing to talk about. I don't know if it's the vacuum tubes themselves, the dust on the tubes. I don't know if it's what was used for the circuit board on these things. It's not Bakelite. I actually don't know what material was used for that. I don't know, it might be that. I'm sure it's pretty warm right now.
get my radio key here. Yeah, but they're made to take heat, and you can, look in there and you can see the places that get a little bit warmer than others. Might look a bit toasty. Before you go to the next radio, if indeed you're going to do that, I will. I can't remember where this radio is at, but you know what? It's calm outside. I don't hear the helicopter. I don't hear the sirens. Maybe they've left. I don't hear them in your neighborhood either. So maybe they've gone home to have some donuts or something. Take a transmission, and I'll find out where you're at on the frequency. Over.
Self-conscious. I'm sure it's probably not where it should be. But I will give you a little more to listen to now. Like I said, the sliding glass doors open. No, I haven't heard what do they call the helicopter? Oh, the ghetto bird. I have not heard the ghetto bird this evening, nor have I heard any cars driving by thumping. So there it is. Not to jinx anyone, but it seems to be a calm evening, at least until now.
Well, let's see what's happening. Is Vintage Days is over? Is the rodeo over or gone? I don't know. Did somebody come in here or did somebody go away? Oh, shoot, he went away. So, as long as we can have a Saturday night old tube radio network, you are 27084, we'll call it 300, to keep you in that 700 window, 700 cycles. So you're good to go, and I don't think anybody, even with a very narrow AM filter, is going to complain about being there.
Ooh, good. Okay. So that's like, that's not quite earning the perfect attendance award, but it's like out of the 185 school days, maybe you got out of school early one day. So that's good. I'll take that. Nobody's perfect.
Yeah, I forgot. Nope. I spoke too soon. Now they're flying over to go home. It's funny you should mention the Perfect Attendance Award. Our high school had those way back when. Yeah, what was that? What century was that? And my older brother, had 4 years, not one, not two, but three, but 4 years, because it was a 4-year, junior high school was 2 years, 4 years of perfect attendance, getting an award. I mean, who does that in high school? And so he purposely made sure that he was not, when they called his name, he didn't show up, so that he was absent to get his perfect attendance award.
Oh my God, yeah, of course. And I'm trying to think if they do perfect attendance awards. I want to make a wisecrack, and again, you have to understand who you're talking to here. I want to make a wisecrack and say that they don't do that anymore, because someone probably said, well, if you're going to look at the youngsters' attendance, you might want to look at the teachers' attendance too. And that may have put a negative spotlight. But no, that's not necessarily true. I think I'm just trying to be funny. I think.
Well, I thought you would get points, right? If you have attendance, you could get your, sabbatical leave. Because I remember we had one math teacher said, I haven't been gone for 10 years, and so he had all this, I think he called it, back then was some sabbatical days accrued that he could just leave for a year or something. So maybe that's the point. Radio 7, the Robin T123, the magic eye winking and blinking as it should upon modulation. Thanks for bringing it by. Over.
Oh yeah. Thank you. It's my pleasure. Trust me, it's my pleasure to even use this thing and hear everyone else on it. For the record, I will say, I don't miss work, and I know that there are tons and tons of people in my line of in my profession that do the same thing, and I could tell you some stories about that, but the ER has got to be, well, I haven't even missed because it's an ER. I don't miss. I don't think anyone's beat my record, but there it is. On that, I'll send it back to you, so we can hopefully get some other folks in there. Thanks again, I think, for the second or third time. Thanks for letting me check this in. What a joy it is to spend a Saturday night listening to everyone on this. Thanks, sir. 73.
All right, thanks for bringing it by. I hope you get a chance to hear or see the replay. That radio really has good audio. Nice, full fidelity. It makes your voice sound good. Not that it isn't already. So, and somebody said, we did do the pen tonight. Someone said we didn't. It's D&J Radio Sales. There it is again. And it was definitely in the pocket. Maybe it fell down. Didn't look like I had. What is that one sticking out? But anyway, getting close to counting and mounting. Getting close to 10 o'clock here, but I'm stay on just a little bit to make sure that everybody can get a radio checked in or get checked in, because we did have some skip at the beginning. So if we didn't hear you on the roll call, you always come back by and say, hey, always there. So we'll get you checked in. The jingle singers are saying, hey, we're here. So we'll get them checked in as well on your old tube radio network. And we'll be looking for Radio 8.
Let's do some spelling.
OTR. 27.085 megahertz. Channel 11, Old Tube Radio. Old Tube Radio.
Number 7.
60.
The best radio, Old Tube Radio. I will agree with that. As we get close to the 10 o'clock hour here on the west coast of California. Are we on the west? Everybody's on the west coast. If you're on CB, you're on the coast. Ed, Mr. Ed, step up into the air chair, but don't take a transmission just yet. And I want to confirm that Joe is there for Radio 960.
That's right, Dennis.
14.
And that we'll go into double digits when we hear from Sangertown. All right, Sean, don't go away. Conditions are getting better. All right, so we've got 7, 60, and 14. And again, you don't need a number to get in on the Old Tube Radio Extravaganza. Radio number 8. Ed is on something. Take a transmission. We'll open the Rolodex here.
Well, it's big and it's green, so probably got a pretty good idea. It's a tram, TR27E, 23-channel transmit and receive.
First tram of the evening, and one of the early ones. You know where we're not hearing from the trams, and we used to, when a tram would check in, it was always the D201. But we haven't heard a tram diamond, as it were, in quite a while. And I'm not lamenting, because we have one right now. We have a tram right now, I should say. The TR27E will go, we won't beat around the bush here. We will go actually to a picture of the radio that is indeed the radio you will hear when I stop talking. Take a transmission.
There you go. Yes, I know you have a picture of this very radio. And other than a few tubes that have been replaced, everything's been working exceptionally well since I've got it, so I cannot complain. And also using the Electro Voice 638 microphone.
EV638. I haven't seen any of those come up for sale in a while. But usually when they do, the old tube guys, especially the Collins collectors, jump on those things right away.
Oh, yeah. If they're in decent condition, they seem to go pretty quick. They're definitely a little pricey, but for an older microphone. But hey, they work really well.
Yes, they do. Let me see if I can grab a semi... Oh, okay, this is kind of an okay picture for those that want to see what you're doing with the microphonium here on the EV638. This may not be the best picture. All right, there's a bunch of them. But here's this microphone on the stand, and it has that, I call it bifurcated head. It sort of looks like an alien type situation, but nice chrome, perfect element, works well with high impedance. I don't know if there's a switch. Is there if you know, is there an impedance switch on that to go from high and low, or is it is what it is?
No, it is definitely just high impedance only.
And do you have yours on a stand or the stand? This one is on a stand, and it looks like it has a slide or a push-to-talk switch below the microphone head.
Yes, mine looks just like that, except for mine is not painted. It is also the aluminum or what is it, a chrome-looking stuff, just like the head is.
All right, well, that really does command attention. You know, it's like you're up on the podium and say, ladies and gentlemen, with a little bit of echo. Cham TR27E, the microphone to go with it, sounding good. We've got some other stations standing by, so I'll go back to you for a transmission and say thanks.
And thank you very much for picking me up, and I'll listen for the others.
Okay, I think my J38 key is finally giving up here. Radio number 9 is stepping up into the air track. No, it's sometimes because we have such a great offering of items in our green room. When people step up, I have to, if it wasn't for Charlie helping out, to drag the people from the food to come up here and talk. I know they would, but we might be going until Tuesday evening. Hello, Joe, you are radio number 9, over.
Thank you much, sir, Dennis. I'm having a little trouble with this one here. Maybe kind of help me out a little bit. Dennis, I'm on my messenger, 223.
Okay, it cut out for a second, but the audio is still good. So hard to say. And I mean, that's got the electronic switching, so sometimes you might lose the receive, but that would be a microphone wiring issue. The messenger 223 will get in here quickly. If you're watching the video, there's one behind my left shoulder that is on, but is certainly not transmitting as well as the one we're about to hear right now. Take a transmission.
Okay, it had been working fine up till now, and it's starting now to cut off even more. So we'll make it quick there. Dennis, doggone it, hate to do this, but I'm going to cut it short this evening until I can get into this one.
Okay, we've got the picture. We're hearing the audio, so anybody that's curious to what they might sound like, maybe they're bidding on one on eBay and thinking, oh, maybe I made a mistake. You did not make a mistake. Unless, of course, you pay $1,000 for it. Maybe so. But even Ed has one, I think, that's got specific modifications that nobody else has. So if it's something you want, it looks good in your shelf, feels good in the collection, it's good to go. And this is a radio that you will certainly not have a problem. You can run it even not on Saturday nights because it has more than channel 11. All right, you're Radio 9, Joe, with the E.F. Johnson Messenger 223. Thanks.
Thank you much, sir, Dennis. She's cutting off quite a bit. But enjoyable radio there for sure. It is definitely a bass radio, and with the original Johnson mic. Thanks a whole lot, Dennis.
All right, yeah, it is a bass radio. I don't even know that this can easily go mobile unless you use a DC power inverter, because it was not made. There was no option like on the Messenger, the Viking, and the 2, where it's, well, you buy the cord or the different radio and plug it into 6 volt, 12 volt, or regular old house current. Thanks. All right, on we go, onward and upward, as we're getting some good conditions. Or maybe, we're not getting good DX conditions so that we can have good local conditions. Hello, Sean, over.
Yeah, Dennis, I'm hoping you can hear me. I'm on my Cobra Cam 88 tonight.
No, you were really loud, and my noise level is just so good. I'm just waiting for, you remember that noise problem I had for months where it would come on? That's not happening anymore, so I'm glad about that. Let's go to B&K, I think is where it is on my Rolodex file for a Cobra, the Cam 88. Always good audio. We've got a couple other stations that have the Cam 88s. And if JT, if you're listening, you're up late tonight. There would be, I don't know if you have that in your collection, the Cam 88. There would be another good radio to put in with the negative preamps. Because they always, out of the box, these things have great audio. Bringing up a picture, and I hope, and then we will go to, okay, I can't get my pictures in. But anyway, take a transmission, I'll find out what's going on here.
Yeah, it's the Cobra Cam 88, and it is on the stock B&K microphone. It is the radio with the modulation light and the Dynaboost switch. So the B&K Cobra Cam 88 with a stock microphone.
All right, there it is. And whoever did this photo has both styles. The modulation light still in the same place next to the meter, and then it looks like, did they move it up? I'm just singing. You know what? They did. If you have one that doesn't have the switch, the modulation light is adjacent to the bottom of the meter where the black surround is. If you have the one with the range expand, they move the modulation light up to near the top of the meter, and the switch almost looks like it's in the spot where the old hole was for the mod light. Very interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely the one on the bottom there in the picture, and I appreciate you letting me check it in for Radio 10, I believe, the Cobra Cam 88.
Yeah, Radio 10 tonight. So if Harvey's driving home and listening, he will be happy that we had some good audio radios, some Browning radios, and of course some good Cobra Cam 88s. I was seeing if we have any of the YouTube pictures with some Cobra people in there. I know we do, but that's a good shot. That gives us what we need. And you told me the microphone. I think, what is the microphone you're running over?
It's the microphone, the stock B&K microphone.
So that is a mobile-style hand microphone?
Correct, or some of them call them like a coffin mic.
Oh my gosh! All right. Well, that's sort of like what happens with the general radio telephones. Is this whatever microphone they put in the box actually really sounds good? Here's the shot I was looking for. Let me see if I can dial it in there with the cam. I think it's a 98 and a couple of 88s, and there it is. That's a good picture with the no light or the no range boost, and then a range boost. Pretty radio. Very well laid out on the controls. It doesn't have the wood around the sides, but doing a good job. And that is courtesy of Keith Pennington, of course, for from his great collections and your great collection. Thanks, Sean. Over.
Yeah, thank you, Dennis. Everybody out there, have a good evening, and sure appreciate the OTR tonight.
Yeah, it's doing good. Had some good weather. Everybody, I thought we might have, people out picnicking or something, and they would forget about the old Tube Radio Network, but not so. All right, thank you. We'll be counting and amounting soon. There is still room to get checked in either SWL side or a radio side. And yes, Mr. JT21 saying the bus. It does look like the school bus. The wheels on the bus go round and round. And I can actually hear the static with no skip. And I don't know, Paul, are you listening? 45? Give it a shot. If you're out there, Paul, give a shout. Over. Say the first quiet part we've had all night.
I can hear him out there, Dennis. He's just not making the trip.
All right, my gosh. Okay, he may have an antenna problem or something, because normally he is, S7, S8, depending on the radio he's on. So that's interesting. The jingle singers are at the ready with the thing they do so well, like this.
You're tuned to
OTR. Channel 11.
Right here in
Fresno, California.
Stay with us
Old Tube Radio.
and be modern.
All right, I will say last call for any and all check-ins. I will say thanks to lots of stations that are staying up late, staying up early Sunday morning, and those that across large vasts of lands are joining us on Sunday morning as the sun has already come up. OTR listening. And I was dragging my feet. Harvey must be working him hard tonight, because normally I will hear him on the crossband as he comes into town. So Harvey, if you are one of our shortwave listeners tonight, we got you checked in, we got you proxied in, so don't worry, the replay is always available. Oh, you know what? I will try. Let me see before I go to see if we can get into Squamish tonight. We'll get the satellite link up. Looks like the engineers are they still there? I'm checking here. Yeah, the engineers are still up in the control booth. Okay, but it says, okay, they're busy. The satellite link up is busy tonight. Let me try one more little possibility. All right, it looks like we can't do it. It looks like all channels are busy. So sorry, Albert and the gang. We wanted to see if we could get to you guys tonight, but it looks like we can't make the link up. So we will try it next week, because you always sound good when we do that. Anybody else for OTR? And now that it's just so quiet, where will the skip land come in next? All right, here are your totals.
Ladies and gentlemen, time now for the current OTR totals.
The current and final totals. Let's go SWL side. It is week 3 on the 8-week roster. For those keeping score that way, 18 check-ins on page 1, 16 on page 2, 14 on page 3, and 21 on page 4 for a total of 69, I do believe, radios tonight. The most heard manufacturer had a tie between the Johnsons and the Brownings. And here's how it went in order of appearance, as they say. Or as I say, radio number 1, the E.F. Johnson Messenger TWO. That was from Joe. Sounding good as always. We kept it with Edgar F. and the gang with the Whiteface, the Viking Messenger from 1958-59 from Waseca, Minnesota. Where is ham radio guy, Larry, from out there in Minnesota? Has checked him before. I'm going to have to send him a note, see if we can chat with him, see what's going on. He actually worked at the E.F. Johnson plant back in the 1980s. It was said it was a great place to work. Lots of employees. Radio number 3, General Radio Telephone Super MC11A. Thanks, Chris, for that. Always sounding good and a fan favorite. The World Radio Labs, speaking of fan favorites, the World Radio Labs WRL. The Hustler Radio, radio number 4. Thanks, Joe. Sanger coming in good tonight. Number 1 was the Browning Golden Eagle Mark IV as Radio 5. The Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB from Mr. Ed for our pair of Browning Laboratories tonight. Radio 7, Mike taking a break and saying, let's get on the Robin radio because it works so well and sounds so good. The T123, Radio 7, Radio 8, the Tram TR27 Echo. Their final offering, 1963 and 64 on the Tram series. Always sounds good. Thank you, Ed, for that. Joe on the E.F. Johnson Messenger 223 that sold a lot of radios in that 1969, 70, 71 era. A great value at $200, even though it was a lot of money then. But for what you got, good value. And look how well they sound and held up. Radio 10, Sean's on the Cobra Cam 88 as the wheels on the bus go round and round. Thanks, everybody, for joining us on the Old Tube Radio Network. I apologize for who was saying that the net was messing up Skip Land. In our 37 years of doing this, no one has ever accused us as messing up Skip Land. So we apologize, and we invite you, Skipland, to go into your Radio Shack, find your best tube radio, and check it in, won't you? Because that's why we are here, to talk about and amass as many of those tube radios as possible. 73, everybody, from your old tube radio network. We will catch you same time, same tube channel here next Saturday on Channel 11. Over.
Thank you, Dennis. Another good radio night there for sure.
Yes, Dennis, thank you very much for being there.
Indeed. And hello to Uniform Delta X-Ray 183. Saying hello, radio, as we sign off late Saturday. You guys are into Sunday morning.
Chris.
Hey, Joe.
Yeah, what's going on?
You're free for a 10-minute call?
Yeah, go ahead. I'll go in there. Let me
What's
make sure my
going
phone's turned
on?
Give me a minute.
I got a moment. We will fire up if I don't break something. Wow. We got cables in the way. I was going to fire up the HF side of things here. See if we can do that. Maybe, maybe not.
In the northwest, well, it's just things, I guess. Yeah, and we're about 20 to 25 miles southeast of Seattle, kind of halfway between Seattle and Mount Rainier. We're in the valley here, actually south of, well, if you look on the map, you'll see Seattle, and then come straight south in the valley, and you come from Renton through Kent.
All right, that's on the
Auburn,
long wire
Pacific,
antenna.
and then a little town of Sumner, and that's
Listening to
where
40
we're
meters.
located, and we're right where the Puyallup River makes a 90-degree turn to the west and flows out to
40 meters,
Commencement
doing
Bay
good
near
at night here.
Tacoma. We're about 10 to 12 miles southeast of Tacoma, so there you go.
Awesome. Well, I like to spin around on 40 meters late at night because at least here where I'm at, it seems like that the propagation works. You know, the band will stretch.
Actually
out,
hear the station he's
and
talking
then,
about. It's pretty cool.
I can actually hear some of the West Coast stations out there, and I was spinning around and I heard you, and try to throw my hat in the ring and see if I could make it out there to Seattle, and I'm glad that I was able to make your acquaintance and talk with you. I'm glad that you were able to hear my humble little station. Over.
Stand by, Breaker. We'll pick you up in just a second here. Well, Dave,
Australia coming in?
What kind of power and antenna are you running? What kind of gear? Over.
Okay, I have a Kenwood 590. I'm operating a Kenwood 590, and I'm running about 1,500 watts right now on a inverted V.
7,200 is the frequency.
Okay, and what's the amp?
It's an old ETO that I just got done refurbishing.
Mr. Airhorn amplifier.
Old ETO.
I have a question for the Ohio station.
Go ahead, Kelly.
Well, first, can the Ohio station hear me?
Go ahead.
So that Kenwood, that 590 you have, is that the SG model, or is that just a TF 590?
No, this is the SG Sierra Golf. Over.
Yeah, QSL. Yeah, I'm the other station that John was talking to. I'm also here in Washington State. I'm 26 miles north of Seattle in Everett, Washington.
So there you go, Washington to Ohio.
6 peanut and butter and jelly.
There's Dr. Dave
73, yes, a QSL on the call.
in Grass Valley.
73, Dave. Thanks, sir.
Roger, have a good weekend.
All right, so the bands are doing a good thing. All right, got to jump out of the air chair. The bands are good all over the place, so keep that in mind. Good night, everybody, from the Old Tube Radio Network.
Well, does it use glass tubes like 3500Zs or ceramic tubes, or what's in it?
It's got a pair of GU74s in it, or 4CX800s, whatever you want to call them.
Okay, copy that. All right, well, that's a new one on me. I hadn't heard of those. The GU74s. I've heard the tube, but I've never heard of an ETO amp model 91, so that's a new one on me. I'm from the old school, I guess. Glass tubes, 41000s, 3500Zs, 572Bs, that sort of thing. So, well, Dave, thanks for the contact. I appreciate the call, and I'm going to stand by. There was a couple of other guys in there, so we'll pick them up, and we'll see how the band goes here. 73 for now, Dave, and thanks for the contact. W8JLS from WA7BZI near Seattle.
All right, very good.
Oh, no.
73,
Not VZI.
the other Washington station out there. Glass is class. Glass is...
VZI, all right. There's a classic radio station. All right. That's it. Good night, everybody.
She moved out and we live on we're rural, so she lives on a house down by the road up from us, so